2025 SEC Baseball Tournament postgame press conference, joined by Mississippi State Bulldogs, represented by head coach Justin Parker, along with designated hitter Noah Sullivan. In a moment, Coach will give an opening statement, and then we'll take questions just for Noah only, please. And Caitlin and Jake are passing wireless microphones. When you get the microphone, introduce yourself and ask your question to the player. Coach, if you give us an opening statement, please.
Yeah, just disappointed. It feels like we've played playoff baseball now for about a month, and to come out early and not make enough pitches and plays in the second and third inning, put ourselves at that deficit. It felt like it almost took that 2 innings to get their guy settled in, and I don't know if he missed a spot after the second inning. So almost like momentum kind of ceased to exist there, and they had all of it, and it just made it hard for us to scrape back in.
All right, we'll take questions for the players, starting the first row on the right.
Robbie Falk with Marin White Daily. Noah, you've played a lot of baseball, and you can have days like this. Even when y'all had the last 9 out of 10 games been really, really good. I mean, what's the mood like around the team, and how do you flush this and get ready for postseason ball?
I mean, we still have our best ball ahead of us. Luckily, it's frustrating because we played really good the past 3 weeks to a month, but we get back to it, back to practice once we get back.
On the right.
Steve Robertson with Gene's Page 247 Sports. No, along those lines, too, I mean, you've got some more baseball to play in front of you, so I'm sure it makes it a little bit easier to flush it. But how eager are you guys to kind of get back to Starkville, figure out where you're going, and start game planning for a regional?
Yeah, we're excited. It sucks that we ended this so shortly because everybody says it's so much fun. Didn't get to experience that, but we just came out super flat and didn't play well enough.
On the right, second row.
Doug Kyle, College Baseball Central. Noah, when you heard or you learned that Prager was starting for A&M, was that what you were expecting? Did it change the way you approached the game going in? I
mean, I was pretty excited for it. We've seen he's been hit around pretty good, but they got a lead, and he just didn't miss spots once they were up 6-0, 8-0.
In the center of the room.
Sam Sklar with the Clarion Ledger. Noah, in those second and third innings when defense wasn't as great and you guys started to fall behind, how hard was it maybe to recover? What were maybe some of the messages you guys were talking about in that time?
We just had to keep playing. We had to find a way to scratch a couple because it was only the second or third inning, so we were fine. We were just unable to because Prager was so good.
Third row on the left.
Matt Tallery from World Baseball Network. Noah, how does it feel to have a guy, like Powell that just works with the pitching staff? I know today you guys shelled off a little bit. McPherson didn't do well. How do you just feel about what you guys can accomplish next week if you guys get into the regionals?
Yeah, it's exciting. We have one of the best offenses in the country. We have a bunch of really good players in the clubhouse and a lot of leaders. So we have a lot of our best ball ahead. Just get back home and back to work.
Toward the back on the right.
Carlo Barone, WCBI TV. Noah, obviously you guys have had a big offensive firepower the last month. Kind of came up a little short today. What were they doing well defensively that kind of, I guess, shut you guys down today?
Yeah, they had a really good game plan. Prager was really good. He had all 3 pitches working, and he'd sneak in a heater there whenever we were on the slider or the changeup. So he just had a really good game plan and executed.
More for Noah. Front row on the right.
Yeah, this game notwithstanding, y'all been red hot at the plate, and especially Ace and you, Ace, both had 2 hits today. What's it like hitting behind him right now? And I mean, he's been pretty consistent all year, but just at this moment when he has 5 straight games of 2 or more hits and right at the top of the league in most categories, and what's it like hitting behind him?
Yeah, it makes it really easy for me. They don't want to pitch to him, so they'd rather throw to me. And luckily, I have Hunter Hines behind me as well, so it's pretty fun to be sandwiched in between those guys.
Any more for Noah? If not, Noah, thanks for your time today. Good.
Thank you.
You have one more?
No, one more.
Okay, sorry about that.
It's all good.
Condam's Commercial Dispatch. With a couple days off now, what's important to spend those days doing, kind of resetting before you find out what's next on Monday?
Yeah, getting everybody with their nicks and bruises back on their feet, ready to go, get in the weight room, and then get back to it. We got a lot of baseball left to play.
Thanks for your time, Noah.
Thank you.
All right, questions for Coach. We'll start over here on the right.
Coach, you've been playing pretty sound defense and pitching well for the most part. What was wrong in that second inning from what you were able to see? What do you think went wrong there?
Yeah, I mean, I think just Reed got lost on the warning track, lost his footing. And leadoff outs are so important, and the inning could go a completely different way. And we didn't make enough pitches there in the middle of it. I think Gatlin's made that play to his left dozens of times this year. So, I don't know that it's anything fundamentally. His feet got tangled, and they get runners, and we didn't handle it.
Along those lines, too, it should have been 2 outs. Instead, you got 2 men on base and nobody out. You went out there and tried to settle, I guess, the defense and McPherson. What was kind of your message to it? That's a freshman in a big spot right there against a really good offense.
Yeah, just that he doesn't need to be a hero here. We don't need to try to scrape out of this thing completely. Give up 1 or 2, but let's keep us in the game. And sometimes I think guys end up trying to strand everybody, and you end up making big mistakes. And then, of course, you roll around to one of the best power hitters in the league with the bases loaded, and that was a pretty defining moment of the game. So just to calm him down, just try to get him to continue to make pitches. I thought he pitched pretty good, but again, just momentum in the fragility of this game. Like you have to play complementary baseball, and he's got to do better. He's got to make more pitches, and we got to help support him.
In the center on the second row.
Justin, just how concerning is this performance as the last one before you go into the NCAA tournament?
Well, I'm not concerned. It's the game of baseball. We've played great for a month. We've been unbelievable early in games offensively. We've scored in the first inning for what seems like 2 to 3 weeks straight. I really did think once they got the 6-run lead, I thought Prager really did a nice job of settling in, and I'm not sure he missed a spot after the second. And he mixed pitches. He made it really tough. The guy is a veteran pitcher in our league. He might have been the best pitcher in our league last year. And you got to tip your cap to that type of performance, but not concerned. Like Noah said, we'll get back home, we'll recommit to the weight room, take these next couple of days off, and try to catch our breath, and then just continue to prepare and move forward.
The second row on the right.
Yeah, Coach, continuing on that thought, it's been hard for any team in the SEC this year from the top down to sustain success for a very long time without the pendulum going back the other way. So when you get back to Starkville, what's your message or what's your strategy to push the pendulum back to the other side?
Well, we just got to get back to work. Really, we got to prepare and get back to work, and probably the front end of this week looks like taking a day or 2 off. Just let everyone catch some breath, rest up, heal any injuries. We're starting to get some guys back healthy on the mound. I thought Dane Burns and Charlie Foster are a really bright spot today. Catch our breath early in the week and then get back to work this weekend.
On the fourth row on the right.
Mitch Davis to MitchDavisShow.com. Coach, I do want to ask you, when you found out that Pranger was going to be the starter for Texas A&M, was there any discussion about changing McPherson and maybe going with somebody else? And what went into the decision-making to make McPherson the starter for today?
Well, I felt like he was our best available guy. So, no, there was no conversation. We were sticking with him regardless of the matchup.
Toward the back of the room on the right.
Carlo Rowan, WCBI TV. I actually had a very similar question. When you went into crafting the pitching lineup for this week, what factored into your decision to start a freshman on the first day, and also what would, I guess, the rest of the week look like?
Well, it's irrelevant now, but Pico Khan had started on short rest the last 3 weeks. So 2 weeks ago against Kentucky on a Saturday, he went Friday the week before, and then last week went on Thursday. So he was up short rest all 3 weeks. We felt like he was a non-option to move up another day. All 3 of the guys threw bullpens, light bullpens yesterday, anticipating us playing the game last night. They would have all been available tomorrow. And the thought and the hope was that Ryan came out and kind of did what he did in the first and moved the ball around and kept him off balance. And I love the kid. I think he's got big-time stuff. I don't think he was the beneficiary of a ton of luck today, albeit some of it was his own doing. But, he was our guy there, and I'd start him again.
First row on the right.
Coach, you mentioned getting Foster back and a couple other guys back. Heading to the regional, what's the prognosis for Hungate, and do you expect to be full strength everywhere else?
Hungate, I'm not sure yet. He's progressing, and we just got to see kind of how far he can get. Every day it's a little bit better. The rest of them, I think, for the most part that you've seen, I think are continuing to get better, more experienced, trying to get pitch counts up and things of that nature, trying to get volume up. So, I thought that the 3 weekend starters had as collective of a good pen week as we've had all year this week. So we're hoping all those guys are rested up and ready to go too.
Okay, last one for Coach on the right.
Kind of on that same vein there with your guys you've added, Charlie Foster. You basically added a free agent there late in the year with what he's got. What have you seen from him the last 2 appearances, and what does a guy like that add to your staff now moving forward?
Well, you have another left-hander with a ride fastball, which is huge, especially facing a lineup like we faced today. I thought he was much more comfortable today than he was probably last Saturday. And that's just going to come with time, getting him out there, getting him experienced. I think you add a left-handed ride fastball. I think you have a guy that could potentially start a Game 4 in a regional. I think you have a guy that can come out of your pen and fill a spot and be a matchup guy. And I thought Dane Burns was equally as good. Kind of different stuff, lower slot, sinker, slider type guy. But you have 2 lefties that are going to present left-on-left matchups if nothing else.
All right, Coach, we appreciate your time today. Good luck the rest of the way.
Thanks.